Kyle, when you checked scores there at the end, even though they didn't have a timeout, so did you feel like there was maybe too much time knowing who was on the other side there?
Yeah, you always worry with Aaron on the other side. That's why we didn't use any timeouts. We're hoping to take it down, but it was a hell of an effort by Juice to get in.
Obviously, you want to score there, but was that play call designed just to get closer? Did you think it had a chance to go?
I think he hit the last guy in the progression on the check down. Juice just had a hell of an effort running after the catch.
He didn't come out and say it. Last progression on the check down, meaning that maybe the play that was called was designed to deliberately chew up not the whole 12 yards, but just get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. But that, Mike, ultimately, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you're playing football. You get the ball in your hands. You're trying to get to the end zone. That's what you're trying to do. You need a touchdown. You're trying to get the touchdown. You may not get another opportunity to score a touchdown. This may be your best chance to score. So you got to take it and then worry about playing defense later.
So, listen, one thing we always talk about in football is we always see the plays at the end of the game. We see that and we say these plays decided it. When we know there's a handful to two handfuls of plays that decide a game. Green Bay goes through the entire game with a third-string left tackle. Gives some credit, some credit there for the quick release of Aaron Rodgers, to get rid of the ball and try and protect the guy a little bit. You have an offense in San Francisco that's a team that's down 17-0 in this game, and as I mentioned, don't get the first lead until that last touchdown. So if people want to look at the end of the game and start assigning things, there's no chance I'm assigning this to the offense to burn the clock. Juszczyk, okay, he was the check down. Absolutely. He's a back flaring out right in the middle of the backfield, and you get it to him. I doubt there's any, remember, there's a first down there to get as well while the clock's running down, but he wants to get in the end zone. We've seen before where you make a play and you don't score. Normally that's with the lead and you're trying to burn the clock. Here, you need a touchdown to be in the lead. So there's no way I'm faulting the San Francisco offense, a team that was down the entire game, for getting that touchdown there. So if you want to go to the end of the game and talk about something, you can talk about a guy that's walking straight into the Hall of Fame and is going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game, doing it again to a team. Or you're going to talk about the San Francisco defense and play it better. To your point, you think he's going to go outside, he goes to the middle because you can kill the clock. And he did it 2 times. So that's where I'm going to go on this. So to me, any discussion of the 49ers burning the clock more, I'm throwing that out for a team that was down the entire night and needed to get the ball in the end zone. That's not where I'm looking.
By the way, I had a flashback there as we were talking about that. Christmas Day 2016, Kyle Juszczyk, playing fullback for the Ravens at the time, scored a touchdown of similar ilk, bulling his way into the end zone for the Ravens, and it left too much time on the clock for the Steelers, who went down the field and scored a touchdown to win the game. So Kyle may have been in his locker last night thinking, man, there's something about this that all feels vaguely familiar to me. But you're right, Mike. I agree with you. You got to get to the end zone. There are so many plays that influence the game. And it was very resilient by the 49ers to come from behind the way they did.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this. If you don't want to be beaten by Aaron Rodgers on the last drive of the game, then you need to be the team that's up 17-0. You need to be the team that leaves no doubt and puts Aaron Rodgers in no position to do anything to you on the final drive. You got to deliver knockout blows. You got to deliver punches. You can't be the one taking the punches early, like the 49ers did twice in 2019 when they were at full strength against the Packers on that same field. 37-9, 37-20. Aaron Rodgers can't hurt you then.
Well, that's the truth, and that is always something to say. You look at the other side of the room and say, A, we got to make some stops, or B, your offense has to be more productive. So at what point were 49er fans, when they're down 17-0, saying, okay, let the Trey Lance era begin? We saw it, and we'll talk about it, in Chicago, and that was because of injury to Andy Dalton that Justin Fields got in the game. But, were there any, whispers or loud shouts about, okay, we're down 17-0, we're going to have to make some plays here, put the young kid in, see if he can provide a spark or something, and we'll see if they start doing more packages with him. But Garoppolo, showed he could help bring this team back. to get that lead late in the game. So I think that was quiet a little bit. Whether you see Trey Lance more in these games with certain packages, not just on the goal line, not just in the red zone, but further away from the field, we'll see. And when you're down 17-0, you had to wonder if you were going to start to see a little more of that.
And Trey Lance coming in with 2 seconds left in the half for that first touchdown of the game by the 49ers. Trent Williams with one of the decleating pancakes of all time. Of course, large guy, small guy, that's kind of how it works as a matter of physics. But that was gutsy. I just assumed they were going to take the field goal, try to get on the board, that old cliche, got to get the goose egg off the board, and we'll go in and regroup. No, out comes Jimmy, in comes Trey Lance for his first snap of the game, first snap in 2 weeks, fifth snap of his career, and Kyle Shanahan trusts him to get it in the end zone. That is going to be one of the conversations all week long for the 49ers, for their fans, for the media in the Bay Area. How much more Trey Lance? When is Trey Lance the right guy? Even though Garoppolo engineered the drive that put them ahead, there were a lot of moments last night where it's obvious the difference between an Aaron Rodgers and a Jimmy Garoppolo. And the 49ers made that move up to get a quarterback that would be ideally for them on that same echelon as an Aaron Rodgers and a Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, listen, we know Trey Lance, just like we knew in Chicago at some point Justin Fields was going to be the quarterback, whether Dalton was healthy or not. We know at some point Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback. But I'll continue to say, Mike, what I've said in the beginning of the year is Jimmy Garoppolo should be the guy. You have a team in the toughest division in football. You have a chance to be a playoff team and maybe do something in the playoffs. We'll see, though. Boy, the Rams are looking good right now. And you have a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over a ton. I know he had an interception, had that wacky play, where threw the ball kind of behind him as well. Sometimes you scratch your head at him. But he's still going to be the more consistent quarterback for you. We see a flash of Trey Lance, his first throwing a touchdown pass, coming in for the play last night and running for a touchdown, and everybody's going to be going, oh, put him in there. Doesn't work that way. When all of a sudden you're in there for every single play, you're still a rookie, and while you may flash occasionally, you're going to make more mistakes than big plays. So now is not the time, and I know there'll be discussion about it, but now certainly is not the time to be thinking anything about that.
Something I tweeted last night, tongue firmly in cheek, although sometimes that doesn't come across. This would be the perfect week for the 49ers to trade Jimmy Garoppolo back to the Patriots. This would be the perfect week after Mac Jones' performance on Sunday, Tom Brady coming to town, and just enough from Trey Lance to get people in San Francisco thinking he's ready. This would be the time to do it, although it'll never happen. Now, the 49ers did try to trade for Aaron Rodgers the day before the draft. They were abruptly hung up on. They had reason to believe that Rodgers wanted to come play for them. They got to see him last night. Here's Rodgers after the game with Michelle Tavoya talking about the comeback victory.
There's going to be so much to discuss about this game, and everyone's going to discuss it, whether it's the penalties that went for you or against you, whatever the case may be. What do you want to say now? What's your message? Get ahead of it, Aaron. You usually have to respond later. We're going to give you the chance to get ahead of it.
I feel good about our team. Week 1 was an anomaly. I said that, and I believe that. We bounced back in week 2, played a great football team tonight, right down to the wire, and this plane ride is going to feel incredible.
It's funny, Mike. One thing I noticed last night in the immediate aftermath of the game, you got people out there acting like week 1 didn't happen. Week 1 still did happen. It happened, and it was awful. And the performance last night makes it even more head-scratching, and they're gaining distance and time and victories from it. And if you pile up enough victories at a certain point, it's forgotten, but it leaves a mark. It's still there. It did happen, and what we've seen the last 2 games makes it even more curious that it did.
Well, I agree. So when they played that first week and got smoked, we all thought, okay, they're not that bad, but are they 13-3 like they were the previous 2 years? Are they that good and then maybe take the next step? That to me was the biggest question, and it was fair to question where everybody's head was at. Aaron Rodgers said he didn't want to be there anymore, wasn't going to play for him anymore, which I know I never believed, and I know others didn't either, and he wasn't going to sit out and he was going to play. But he wasn't there. There was drama. Davante Adams wasn't going to sign that deal, wanted to be the highest paid player, but Aaron wasn't there either. So I think there was legitimate concern of, okay, where is everybody's head? Because everybody knows Aaron is probably going to only be there this 1 year. Are you ever going to, handle the business with Davante Adams? So is this our last year to do anything? So do you press too much when something like that happens? So for me, it was always, they're not as bad as the New Orleans loss, but are they as good as now Aaron throwing 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, winning their next 2 games? Are we back to that good in the NFC where you have, Tampa Bay, where you have the Rams, and I know we'll get into that, and other teams as well. To me, that's the biggest question. It wasn't about Aaron Rodgers' talent. It was, where was this team going to be? Their left tackle Bakhtiari still out. So where were they going to be in relation to the last 2 years? And right now they're playing like they're the 13-3 team from the last 2 years, albeit faltering, thinking they can go a little farther in the playoffs, maybe getting to the Super Bowl while you still have Aaron Rodgers. So to me, it was never they were just going to fold and be all of a sudden have an under 500 record. It was, will they still be as good as that 13-3 teams those last couple of years and get back to the NFC Championship game and maybe try and get over that hump and get back to the Super Bowl with Aaron?
And that's a great point. You could actually make the argument that they are ahead of where they were in 2019 because they have done something they failed to do that year in 2 different opportunities, go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers on their own field. The difference, though, is, and we'll talk more about the Rams coming up, the Rams for now have that glow and that vibe that the 49ers had 2 years ago. And the Cardinals have a little bit of it, too. So we don't quite know where the 49ers are, so it's hard to know how much confetti to fire into the air for beating the 49ers on their own field. That's all to be determined.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.